Hello, hello, and welcome. It's another episode of HTV Hear Their Voices. This is the Icon Podcast. My name is Priscilla Ozodo Acevedo, and it's such a joy to be back here with you on this lovely Tuesday evening for some of you. I'm excited. I hope you all had a wonderful, joy-filled Easter. I had a wonderful, joy-filled Easter watching my service online. Which is what most of us are doing now in the midst of the pandemic. And I'm excited for yet another episode. So for those of you who are joining us for the first time, you're wondering, what is this? I just clicked on this random thing that a friend shared. This is the Icon Podcast, and Icon is the International Committee on Nigeria. And this is what we do. We promote human dignity, the right to live, religious freedom, and the protection of the vulnerable against all forms of persecution in Nigeria. Again, my name is Priscilla Ozodo Acevedo, and I am your host. This we do every week, okay? So I'm going to ask you to take a moment, pull out your phone, and it's not right for you to watch this alone, right? It's not right for you to experience this wisdom and this all of what we're doing by yourself. So pull out your phone. If you received a notification on YouTube, on Facebook, that means thank you. You subscribe to our channel or you're following us, click the share button. So just go straight to your Facebook or to YouTube and you would have gotten the notification, and just open that and click share. And let's get other people to watch it. It is not good for you to watch this by yourself. On Facebook, I think you can do a watch party, right? Invite friends and let's watch this together. So welcome again to the HTV podcast. I'm your host, Priscilla Ozodo Acevedo. And in this season of the Icon Podcast, we have been hammering on the theme, speak up, speak out. Speak up for different causes, particularly for Nigeria. Speak up for Leah. Leah Sharibu is somebody we've been advocating very strongly for. She's been in captivity for the past 3 years, and we've been advocating for her. So we've been encouraging you and our guests to use their platforms to speak up on behalf of Nigerians and speak out and promote human dignity and religious freedom and speak out against persecution and against terrorism in Nigeria. So last week we had a special guest. It was my brother. You got to meet him and enjoy him. He talked about serving in the midst of persecution. He explained to us how he moved from what was a more safe part of the country to a place that is ravaged with this persecution, and he's serving the people and the youth in that area. And I'm sure some of you enjoyed that. Thank you for watching that. Thank you to those of you who watch us every single week. This week, I have a very special guest. I'm excited to introduce, well, he's not a stranger to you. If you've been following Icon for a while, you will know his face and his name, but I can't wait to introduce him to you. But first, here are some announcements that we have, okay? Last week, we had asked for those of you who are in Minneapolis to contact us about learning more about about what we're doing in Minneapolis. Well, for those of you who were wondering, this is what we're doing. We're in the Twin Cities, and we're going to have a rally in the Twin Cities in Minneapolis. And this rally is taking place on Thursday, April 8th in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Follow us on social media to get more information about where this rally will be happening. That's the commercials where you put the fast-paced, small letter things. But we want to see you. We want to connect with you. We want to speak to you. If you are anywhere around the Twin Cities, we'd love to have you around and to have you share in to be part of this rally that we're doing on behalf of against slavery in Nigeria. We have the hashtag Free Nigerian Slaves. You can learn more on our social media, learn more by following us. I'll get to that later, okay? And right now, we're going to jump into the news of the week. As we mentioned, it was Easter weekend this past Sunday. And while a lot of us had a blast, it's still unsafe in many parts of Nigeria. And in an Easter message, the Metropolitan Catholic Archbishop of Onitsha, Most Reverend Reverend Valerian Maduka Okeke, has publicly denounced the increasing rate of violence in Nigeria and appealed to the citizens to show love to one another instead of hatred. I had to pause when I was reading this news because I was raised with this kind of message. Oh, just show love, just show love. And a lot of people, I've noticed a lot of people in Nigeria kind of pushing against this kind of message, just because it doesn't mean that we shouldn't advocate for against oppression. It doesn't mean we shouldn't speak up and just act dumb. What he's saying is our response to each other should not be hatred. He said this delivering his Easter message titled "Be Your Brother's Keeper" at the Most Holy Trinity Church in Onitsha yesterday. The Archbishop regretted that today in Nigeria there's too much violence, ranging from battles with kidnappers and bandits and killers and herdsmen and Boko Haram insurgents. He's calling attention to what's happening, yet calling for peace, love, and harmony. That's what we want for Nigeria. This is our desire for a Nigeria that is filled with peace, love, and harmony. In other news, from the Daily Post, we read that the indigents of Yawa axis of Ogun State, they call themselves the Ketu Advancement Front. They have challenged a statement by the Serkin Fulani claiming that the indigents, so this is the head of the Fulani tribe, he is claiming that the indigents have killed over 100 Fulani herdsmen and cows in the past. That we never heard of. Okay. They challenged his statements, calling it a blatant lie, and they made a counterclaim stating to the Daily Post that it was the Fulanis who carried out wanton killings and destructions in that area for over 20 years, including the coordinated assault that happened between Thursday the 11th and Wednesday the 17th of February 2021. I had to pause, and I'm throwing in my opinion right here, because they're trying. The reasoning that this head of the Fulani tribes is saying is his people have been killed by the indigents, and it almost sounds like he's making that as the reason why they have a right to go kill other people. And I'm like, hold on, no. There shouldn't be a reason why killing should be happening. I think we need to listen to the Archbishop from the top and say, how can we settle these differences without killing each other? And now for some good news. I love to end our news segment on some good news. Okay. The cable.ng reports that 12 Boko Haram insurgents were killed as Nigerian military troops repelled their attacks in Borno State. The insurgents had on Sunday in the middle of the night attempted to attack a Nigerian military troop base, right? And sources told the cable that the soldiers engaged the insurgents in a gunfight. This ended up that the Tango 9 troops responded rapidly. They engaged the terrorists with a high volume of firepower and instantly neutralized 7 of them on the spot, and forcing the terrorists to retreat. And this was gotten by a source, from a source. This is good news to me because it means that the terrorists are retreating and the Nigerian army are showing that they have some kind of authority. However, what we are not saying is that we're not rejoicing in the death of anybody. We're not even rejoicing in the death of terrorists. We just rejoice in the fact that the Nigerian army is finally responding. They're finally doing something to push back these terrorist activities. And that is why we call this good news. We're grateful that things are happening, yet we need to keep our voices screaming on the mountaintop because the journey has just begun. There's still so much work to be done against terrorism in Nigeria. Okay, are you ready to meet my guest? Because I'm ready to introduce you to my guest. I'm super excited about today's guest. Today's guest as somebody. Oh, just before I introduce the guest, for more news and more information, follow us on Facebook. I keep saying this every week, y'all. It's not even funny. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, but also particularly to get news updates about Nigeria, about the things going on in Nigeria. You can sign up for our newsletters on iconhelp.org. If you scroll down to the bottom of the page, there's a form that allows you to sign up. You can give us your name and your email, and every week we will send you current news from reliable news sources to give you information about what's happening in Nigeria. Okay? So if you want more news, more details, more juicy details, follow us on Facebook, subscribe for our newsletters. And now for my special guest. Okay, my guest today is no stranger to you. You've seen his face if you've been following Icon, particularly the podcast, you will know this face. Teyei Pam is a development professional with more than 15 years of experience in community and stakeholder engagement. Building, he facilitates successful trainings and advocacy programs. I found out recently, I think this is the more interesting fact about him. I found out recently that he is married to somebody that when we were in high school, somebody that graduated with me. She's in my graduating year. And she was like the prettiest girl in the class. Like everybody wanted to be her. And I'm like, you got married to her. So that's the coolest fact about our guest. But please join me to welcome Teyei Pam to the studios. There you are.
Hey, Priscilla. Thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm well. It's a joy to have you. To be sitting on this side of the podcast is weird to me because usually when I saw your face, the first time I watched the Icon podcast, it was your face, it was your show, and then now I'm like intimidated because I'm interviewing the man himself.
Yeah.
So it's such a joy to have you back.
It's interesting. It's my pleasure. It's really an honor to be here today to chit chat with you.
Yeah. So for those who may not have watched the podcast before, may not be familiar with you, can you tell us a little bit about who Teyei Pam is and what do we need to know about you that we don't know already?
Real quick, like you said, I'm a development professional with special interest in human-centered design for development. My interest really, especially when we look at Nigeria and Africa, is having a contextual approach to sustainable development, and that is creating an enabling environment and capacity development for people to thrive and to grow and to thrive in Nigeria, Africa, and around the world. That's pretty much one of the things that I'm sold out to.
Awesome. So can you share us today? We're talking about the diaspora and the voice of the diaspora and talking about having a motherland that we're not at. Okay. So if you don't mind, share a little bit about your diaspora story. How did you end up here? And then how did you end up with Icon and working for Icon?
All right, real quick. I actually came to the US in 2015 to school, graduate school. So I graduated from graduate school at the Heller School for Social Policy and Management in Brandeis University in Boston, Massachusetts, Waltham to be precise. Yeah. But my journey with Icon is long before now. Not Icon as an organization, but then Icon from the founders of the organization, and that's Stephen Another and then Kyle Apps. Right from when I was back in Nigeria, Kyle was a missionary in Nigeria. Stephen was actually my schoolmate back in Nigeria. So we have worked on different projects, different levels of projects. And with Kyle, we have done a lot of humanity kind projects, from visiting communities that were attacked and then providing resources for them to get back on their feet and grow, rebuilding projects, re-roofing projects, providing food, clothing, school supplies, and just finding ways to provide solutions to the challenges that we've had. We've been on different commissions, and when Stephen and Kyle started Icon, I started as a volunteer, just doing things here and there. And today, it's a pleasure to be on the team to contribute towards this great work that Icon is doing.
Awesome. Awesome. You serve as the Diaspora Director for Icon. And so, what do you believe, just as you approach your job as Diaspora Director, the role of the Nigerians in the diaspora? What do you believe is, when it comes to execution? I say our role, including myself, I'm a Nigerian, right? What first of all, do we have a role in this fight against terrorism and persecution, and what do you think that role is?
Yeah, so first of all, I'd like to start by saying the Nigerian diaspora voice is a Nigerian voice. The fact that we're not physically in Nigeria doesn't mean that we don't have a right to contribute towards policy and towards what's happening in regards to nation building in Nigeria. So our voice is a valid Nigerian voice as diaspora. We go beyond just sending remittances to Nigeria. We have the right to contribute to the public policy in Nigeria, and to contribute towards governance, and to demand good governance, to demand transparency and accountability from our political leaders in Nigeria. And yes, we have a very, very huge responsibility, not just in Nigeria, but even while we're here. So while we're here, we have the Nigerian voice to contribute to policy and decision making that the US is doing towards Nigeria. So if the American government is talking about the insecurity in Nigeria and the need for government to be more responsible, we have a voice to contribute. Our voice is a valid voice to speak and to engage the American government in saying, hey, look, we're Nigerians and we're here. We have a say, and we want to contribute to what you're doing. A lot of the Nigerians in diaspora have family members back home, cousins, parents, brothers and sisters, friends, and relatives. So we have information. Every day when we wake up, we have valid information on what is happening back home. So if the US government is looking for information or perspectives from a Nigerian sense, we have the voice to do that. Something we could do back home as diaspora is to try to create opportunities to educate and enlighten our people, and encourage our people more than anything else, to see their presence on the ground as a responsibility, to also engage the government. So how can we create platforms that encourage people to know how to engage the government? And I know that Icon is pretty much does that too. So Icon as an organization engages with the American government in shaping policy and influencing policy in regards to Nigeria. And then Icon as an organization has programs that is geared towards empowering and supporting local individuals and organizations back in Nigeria in finding ways to engage the government and engage elected political leaders in trying to get them to be accountable and transparent to the people, and to demand more responsibility from elected office holders. So our voice plays in two ways. We have a voice here, we have a responsibility here in the US, and then we have a voice back at home and a responsibility back at home.
I love that. I love that you said our role is not just to send money to our grandparents and our parents and siblings, but to have a responsibility here to speak to the American government and tell them some of the very real experiences, and also to influence policy back in Nigeria. Thank you for the clarity of that response. Now, when I think of this, and I want to say this is not based on any research, it's just based on the way I think of people in the diaspora. I kind of see us falling into about three categories. And the first category to me is people who are Nigerians, live abroad, but are oblivious about the problems in politics and the killings and the persecution. They're completely oblivious. They're like, yeah, I'm from there, but I have no idea. How would you speak if I place somebody in that category in front of you right now? What would you say to them to help them get their voices or get engaged in this fight against persecution and against this persecution and terrorism? What would you say to that person that lives in the US or in England or somewhere out of the country and is completely oblivious to the issues going on?
That is interesting because you always have those kind of people everywhere, even in Nigeria. Because I remember back in the days when we used to do a lot of projects back in, let's say, the northeastern part of Nigeria and the north central or the middle belt part of Nigeria. A lot of people in the other parts of the country didn't know what was happening. We had people that just didn't know what was happening. But then it takes a lot of awareness and advocacy, talking about the situation and finding ways and avenues to let people know exactly what's happening. Another thing that could help is interest from the other party. Because if somebody is not interested in knowing what's happening, on the other side of the fence, they're not going to even make an effort to know. And whether we like it or not, there are people that are Nigerians, but don't have any interest in knowing what's happening in Nigeria. For whatever reason, and it's actually something that depends totally on them. If they're interested in knowing, there are different platforms, including Icon, doing awareness and advocacy, talking about what's happening continuously on our website, on our social media handles, our YouTube channel, the emails that we send out. We are constantly talking about the insecurity in Nigeria, the injustice and the human rights violation and abuses of people in Nigeria. So if people don't know what is happening, they can plug into the Icon website or any of the social media handles and get to know what's happening. Except if they are not interested in knowing, then I guess we have to figure out how to get them to be interested.
That's the question. Is I'm hearing you like, if they're not interested, and I'm like, Tey, how can we get them to be interested? What can we do? And this is a follow-up question I still have so many questions, but if you can just briefly, is there some way that we can engage people that are not interested to say, look, this is serious. This is your motherland. What can we do to get the conversation going? Just briefly, if you just want to touch on that.
Yeah. So for me, I mean, the responsibility we have is it goes beyond just Nigerians, right? So because Nigerians are obviously Nigerians, you expect that they should be interested in what's happening. But even beyond Nigerians, connecting the challenge in Nigeria and any other part of the world to the fact that we're all humans and this is a human challenge. Getting people to connect to the humanity of this problem, of this challenge that we have, making them see that, this thing is not right at your doorstep. But then another human being just like you is going through the same situation. And it's not caused by something that person has done or has not done. And I think getting to understand that human factor, is very critical in getting people interested and getting people curious about what's happening, understanding that we're all human beings and you have a voice and an opportunity to contribute towards making somebody's life much more better if you speak up or you stand up for the voiceless or the other person who's weak. So I think the component, our humanness, the humanity component of us being human and connecting, empathizing with
Yeah.
other people and having the compassion to move towards being the ones who courageously step out and speak up and stand in the gap for those people is something that can actually spark up an interest in people who don't have that connection.
That's so good. Thank you so much for responding to that. We are all human. And if we don't speak up for those without a voice, then when we are voiceless, there'll be nobody to speak up for us,
No,
right? So
definitely,
the second
definitely.
category, in my opinion, my mind created categories are those who they know about the problem. And I was kind of in this category, right? I knew that hard things were happening in Nigeria, but it just kind of paralyzed me like, what difference can I make? I'm just one person. How can I make a difference? And so I will hear the news, I'll hear the terrible things happening, and then just kind of create a wall like, yeah, that's sad for them. And then just kind of close that door. What will you say to people like that say, I'm just one person, I can't do it? Briefly, because we're running out of
Well,
time.
real quick, real quick. There's power in just one person because it is one person plus another one person plus another one person that makes 10 people, 20 people, 50 people, and 1,000 people. So if you know about what's happening, you really want to do something about what's happening, please go to www.iconhelp.org and go to the part where it says engage or get involved. And there are tons of resources, materials, and guidance on how you can contribute to the amazing work we're doing. Just do that.
Don't we just love that we're saying the same things?
Oh, yeah.
Like saying, go to iconhelp.org. It's amazing. Finally, I want you to speak to people who, the category of Nigerians that have been fighting, that believe we can make a difference, and they've been fighting and they're exhausted and they're tired because they don't really see the difference right now. Nigerians in the diaspora that are not there physically to make a difference, and they've been working, doing their little part, and it looks like nothing is happening. How will you encourage them?
Keep hope alive, never give up. That's just it. Keep hope alive and never give up. I mean, we encourage ourselves by saying, even if we don't get to see the fruits of our labor in our generation, our kids or their kids would live to enjoy the struggle that we have started. We are taking it somewhere. We are moving, we are pushing, and we're taking it somewhere. Our kids will continue from where we stopped, and their kids would probably enjoy what we have started or what we're doing, and we keep going. So my encouragement to those who have been in this struggle and have been pushing for a very long time, things are happening. People are getting to know. People are speaking out. They're so don't give up and keep hope alive.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much. So finally, as we wrap this up, thank you so much for being here, Tay. Thank you for being a guest.
Thank you for having me.
On the other side of the screen after hosting for so long. But can you tell us some of the things that Icon is doing? Oh, it's such a joy. As the diaspora director, what are events or things that people can plug into as members of the Nigerian diaspora in the US? What are some things that your office is doing at Icon that people can get connected with?
Yeah, so like I said, go to the website and get involved. Once, if you get into our mailing data, you're going to be getting emails that tell you what we do. We're trying to put together individuals, groups, and organizations that we want to keep meeting so we can bounce ideas on the way forward, especially as Nigerians in the US. and we want to hear your perspectives, your ideas, your concerns, ways that you think we can influence what's happening back home, in regards, especially in regards to human rights and safety and security of people back home. So visit the website and let us know your thoughts. Follow us on the social media handles, and send us an inbox, send us an email, make a phone call,
Yeah.
and
Is there an
just
email
plug
that people, yeah. Tay, is there an email address that people can reach you directly in Icon, so they're not just doing info at Icon? Or
Yes,
if they're
yes. So
interested particularly?
so send me an email on this address, Teyei, that's TEYEI at iconhelp.org. So that's TEYEI at ICONHELP.org.
That's
That's it.
great.
Send me an
As you're
email, and
spelling it
I'll
out,
love to hear from you.
yep, as you're spelling it out, AJ's scrolling it down there. So they're gonna, I will say, if
Awesome.
you are at all interested, maybe you're a Nigerian or not a Nigerian, in the diaspora or at home, and you want to know about what we're doing with Nigeria, Tay an email, and he'll be happy to talk to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for coming on the show with us. And I'm excited to see more of the things you're doing. Yeah.
Awesome.
And I will have
Thank
you again. Awesome. Have a blessed rest. Have a blessed rest of your day. I think we're having a bit of a delay because I am still in the beautiful island of Puerto Rico. So you all have had it. I have nothing to add. Tay's got it. You follow us, listen. If you're one of those that have not, or you know somebody that has no interest, let them hear about being human and relating to the human story. If you know all about the struggle and you feel paralyzed, like, what can I do? Get involved. Send us an email. We'll love to engage with you. And if you've been working hard and fighting against persecution in Nigeria, we want to stand alongside you. We want to support you. We want to encourage you. Follow us on social media. Send us an email with some of the things you are doing. We want to be part of it. So it's been such a joy to be here with you. We've had some connection problems today, and I'm so glad that we were able to get the podcast to you today. So thank you for joining us once again. I will be here same time next week. Have a blessed rest of your week. God bless you.